I got a new student for my classroom. Grumpy Cat. Welcome to the latest installment of the Witty Hour. It's not really an hour. The time where I convince you to buy my books without talking about my books. While I may not be actually convincing you to buy my books, I am going to advertise for someone else today. I've bought 2 pieces of art lately, one of them being Grumpy Cat, and one of them being a beautiful print by Paul Richmond. This one not so good for my classroom, but when I get it framed, is going to be really good in my home. I think it's beautiful. Anyway, just wanted to send a shout out to him. Check out Paul Richmond Studio or paulrichmondstudios.com. He's not endorsing me, but Paul, if you see this, you can. Yeah, I take cash or anything. For story time today, you get a delightful little tale about when yours truly was about 8 or 9, somewhere in there. As you may recall, I wasn't exactly skinny, or average, or large. Let's just say I couldn't fit in jeans and had to shop in the husky section. Clothes makers, just so you know, every fat kid out there knows what husky means. Screw you. Anyway, this one winter, it was snowing a lot, and for Christmas, my folks had given me this cool plastic sled. It was black, and it had these brakes that you pull up on the side. I don't know, it didn't scare me like the metal ones did, where I thought it was going to slice me open, which I still think could happen. Those are dangerous. But anyway, right after we open Christmas, or open presents, we go out there, we get on the hill, and I'm sliding down my fat little ass, picking up some speed. And I've never been exactly athletic. I don't know if this requires athleticism or not. But anyway, I'm going down the hill. This is the very first run. And there's a merry-go-round at the bottom of the hill, and I somehow am aiming right towards it and managed to hit it. If I had meant to, I couldn't have hit that thing within a mile. But since I didn't, I hit it. And one leg, I went underneath. One leg went up, and one stayed down. And here's that fat little kid with glasses and braces, curly red hair, because they had a perm. Actually, I don't know if that was in or not. Anyway, stuck under the merry-go-round, screaming his poor little queer head off. And I spit again. I like to spit at you for some reason. It's sexy. But my mom, being the hero that she always is, and I actually don't mean that facetiously at all, she is totally my hero, came down and pulled me out from underneath the merry-go-round. Both of my legs still work. I don't enjoy sledding. Hello, I'm Ottie Fry, flown in once more from the other side of the pond for Minnie Say What. While I have your attention, actually, you may be under the impression that I enjoy this, that it's some sort of privilege to come over here with you Yanks and talk about literature. I assure you, it is not. It is out of pure desperation. Agnes buys too many shoes, and I have no other option but to come here and make a little cash. Granted, very little. Today's review is about Rising Frenzy, Book 2 of Men of Myth by Brandon Witt. Today's review comes from a review site. Finally, someone credible. The review site is called Becky Miscondit's Reads Book Review, although Miscondit sounds hopeful. She might be British. She'll have taste. She says, and it's only part, she's a long-winded lady, this is a complex character and plot-driven tale that pulls you into a fascinatingly well-built world where vampires, witches, werewolves, warlocks, and many other supernatural races exist, unknown to the human world. Could we just say it's a Harry Potter ripoff, maybe? Which I'm sure is what she's getting to. The characters are vivid, three-dimensional, and have the same hopes, dreams, and faults, and foilables, foibles? As anyone in the real world. Right. With a smooth plot flow, this tale pulls you in from the beginning and leaves you quickly turning the pages to find out what happens next. The men are hot, the emotions hotter, and the sex is literally out of this world. She liked it. The bitch liked it. This is disgusting. Disgusting. The things I have to do because of Agnes's shoe addiction. I tell you, the depths of depravity. Bloody hell. This has been Artie Fry with another installment of Meanie Say What. Apparently, we've run out of meanies. Joy. As I said a couple episodes ago, every once in a while I want to introduce you to a book that is very special to me or that I think is pretty amazing. It won't be every other episode or anything quite so much, but there is one that I wanted to tell you about right now. Woke Up in a Strange Place. The most important thing about this book is it was one of the very first books that I have read of a gay literature that made me go, oh, I really, really love this. And it's amazing writing, and it's creative, and it actually says something. And it was also one of the first ones that I had read that had a really spiritual, at times Christian, at times totally not, but slant to it. The other reason it's very important to me, it was after reading this book a couple years ago that I contacted the author, Eric Arvin, and just said, I loved your book. Thank you so much. I've been trying to get published, and your book is really inspiring to me. I never expected to hear from the man again, and he wrote back and said, thanks, I'm published through Dreamspinner. Check him out. And it was on his recommendation, after searching for years and countless rejections, that I now have 4 books published. Without this man and without this book that I truly loved even before it served me so well in my dreams, I would still be fighting to get published. So read this book for a multitude of reasons. The other thing I want to say real quick, and I'm hopefully by the time this video is a few weeks old, this part will be out of date. It is not why I chose this book. I've had this book planned to talk about today for a few weeks. But in the past week, Eric Arvin, I'm not going to give too many details, but had to be admitted to the hospital again. He has dealt with some severe cancer, I believe I can say that much without giving into privacy, issues. And anyway, please keep him in your prayers. He and his fiancée, JT, I just said JT, TJ, I keep calling him JT like he's Justin Timberlake. Anyway, they really need your prayers. Please hold them up. And I also will include a link at the bottom of this to a campaign that's raising money to help them with the medical expenses and dealing with the care of keeping people around for him at the hospital. So, anyway, please send prayers and or money to Eric Arvin and his fiancée, TJ, and buy this book. All of his books are amazing, but this is my personal favorite. As always, on the Witty Hour, the most important part is to give back. That's true in your life too, not just the Witty Hour. It is time to create a little bit of world peace. And since it's almost Christmas, we're doing that through snowflakes. It's true. Snowflakes create world peace. There are only 2 things you have to make snowflakes. But you can make it more complicated if you want. One of those things you need, paper. The other, scissors. The most important thing, well, obviously besides the paper, is that your scissors are crazy sharp. If they are not sharp and ready to like rip a bitch, you're going to be really frustrated and your snowflakes are going to come out shoddy. Side note, okay, holidays can be lonely and depressing. We've all been there. If you're feeling lonely or depressed, don't do this. Stay away from the scissors. No. Go rent It's a Wonderful Life or skip that actually. Go rent some porn and get some hot chocolate and you will feel better very quickly. All right, moving on. The first thing you'll need is paper. You are going to fold paper in half. Get the edges even. Fold in half long ways. In school we call it hot dog style because this is identical to a hot dog bun. Then you're going to fold it in half the other direction. I should know what that's called, but I'm not that good a teacher, so I don't remember. So now you have, if you open it up, 4 quadrants. You don't need that. Keep it folded. Now, here's where it's important. You want to focus on that center part. It would be the center of that paper. That is the epicenter of your snowflake. If you get mixed up and start using this as your center, oh, moron. So keep that in mind. There's your center. And you're going to fold this side over to this side, like so. Perfect. You're going to be left with this. You're going to cut that off. Now your snowflake, you can either have straight edges or you can do a curve around where it's kind of a round snowflake. At the end I'll show you both examples. Well, no, let me show you now. Here we go. The budget on the show is very high, as you will notice by my cooking tray for a backdrop. Here is a snowflake that's more rounded. I had cut the edge to be circular. See? Snowflake. Pretty, pretty. Or here's the more, yes, it's Christmas, Dolan. I know. Yes, if you were a cat, you'd be happy about that. Cat. Here is a more square variety, or diamond. So those are some examples of what you can do. Anyway, moving along. We have our paper that we folded. Thanks to the modern miracle of the bake and shake oven, I have one right here. Typically, I don't draw out my designs, but I wanted to make it easier to make sense to you. I just kind of cut. But this is kind of the idea. All these white parts are the parts that will be the snowflake. See, I drew a little heart and says, I love you, because I love you. Yes, I do. So, we are going to be cutting all of that out. This is going to be another square shape. So, we're cutting and slicing, and we're going to be careful not to slit our wrist. No, we have all been in love. We all thought we were going to get married and then got dumped. And then it was Christmas. And then we were alone. I've been there too. Not worth it. It gets better, folks. So that you didn't have to watch me cut out every single little section, I had my assistants do it while I went and had some martinis. And now they're done. So I'm back. I left 2 sections because I wanted to show you, besides the epicenter that you have to keep together, or remember where it is, you also need to focus on this edge and this edge. The top part doesn't really matter what happens to that, but on this edge and this edge, you want to make sure that you leave some parts connected and that you don't cut it all the way down the middle. Because otherwise you'll just have a bunch of pieces of a snowflake. So I wanted to make sure you understand that part. I'm going to cut that out real quick, and then we will examine what kind of snowflake we have. It's always kind of fun because no matter what design you come up with, there's always a little surprise. It looks a little different than you think. Kind of like when you have kids and, you know, they turn out to look like they do or act like they do, and you pretend like, oh, you're God's little miracle. And they are. So am I. Trust me, I'm not what Mom and Dad asked for either. The other thing I want to point out is, as you're cutting, instead of just moving your scissors which way, I find it easier to actually move the paper. Notice how my paper is moving, not my scissors? Yeah. You're right, I got my master's degree. Not everybody can do this. I have a bachelor's, a master's, a trade degree. That's what those thousands and thousands of student loans will get you. I can use scissors. Oh, Merry Christmas. Anyway, here's the heart. I love you. Now, let's open it up. I've noticed that most of my designs kind of come out tribal. I'm not sure why. That's not my tribal arm. Well, yeah, it is. But you can make it swirly, round, whatever. But this is fun. Here we go. Are you excited? I'm excited. I always get excited with you. Sharing our efforts to make the world better, to make more peace, to fill up the hungry bellies of all those that are less fortunate by making snowflakes. Hello, first world giving. So, there it is. I know you can't really see it because we don't have my really, really expensive backdrop. There's our snowflake that we made. Lovely. You may also, in addition to using scissors, use one of those sharp razor blade thingies. Look that up on the internet. Razor blade thingies. X-Acto knife? I think that's it. Also, not a tool for when you're depressed. You need to be happy to make snowflakes. So there you go. You can have snowflakes. You can make earrings. You can hang them from your ceiling. You can put them on your puppy's butt. Whoa, you should see the look of disdain Duncan just gave me. Kind of probably similar to the one you're giving me right now. As always, thanks for joining us for the Witty Hour. Hope you've enjoyed, excuse me. Wow, camera whore. Excuse me. Hope you've enjoyed making snowflakes, learning about art, and learning about fat kids and sleds. Woohoo! Until next time, we love you. Have a wonderful Christmas and stay away from scissors. Seriously?